Hello everybody, Jenny here with Reality TV Breakdown. We are going to be talking Traitors again today. Last episode. As always, it's a good one. Let's talk about it.
Welcome to my castle. It's this world of bloodshed. I am your humble narrator. So step inside, stay a while in the company of the traitor.
All right, so we open up the scene. Kate goes to the turret to make a decision on who she's going to vote out. This is the first and only time she's been in the turret by herself. Ellen comes in to talk to her.
So, Kate, the final night, the final traitor, the final murder.
And basically tells her, you need to make a decision, who's it going to be? So she talks it out with him because there's nobody else to talk it out with. And it would look weird if she was in there talking to herself. She basically says she's deciding between Trishelle, yes, or Sheree. Sheree? Why is Sheree on your radar? That shocked me, but I understood her rationale. She says if she takes out Sheree, being another Bravo person, it might take the pressure off of her. And then she can push the narrative that Sandra is really the traitor. Okay, can't argue. Can't argue. Trishelle, just because she's Trishelle. And she's a threat, and she's a good game player. And I'm thinking, yeah, let's just get rid of Trishelle. She's caused problems this whole time. Interestingly, Kate says she really likes everybody who's left in the game. So it makes it harder because it would be easier to get rid of somebody you didn't like. She should have asked me. I would have told her who not to like. No, Kate, we don't like Trishelle. All right, moving on. I just can't take Trishelle and all of her faces. I'm over it. I'm over it. The over-exaggeration of everything. It just annoys me. And the crazy costume outfit she wears every day. Ugh. All right, so we're moving on. I will say, Kate being Kate had a great one-liner before Ellen showed up.
Well, the first thing I want to do is redecorate, obviously.
I like her. She makes me laugh. I like any character who makes me laugh. I like. Might not be a good idea or a good strategy. If I were voting out, I'd vote out all the boring people and keep everybody who makes me laugh. And then I'd lose the game, but I'd have fun in the meantime. We'll talk about that in the reunion when it comes to Phaedra's strategy on who she was voting out. Okay, Kate makes her decision. Everyone goes to bed. A murder happens. They're at breakfast the next morning. MJ comes in first. Giddy and so proud of herself. She made it through the night. CT comes down next. He, too, excited. They made it another day, and they're getting to the very end. It's the final day in the castle. Now, at breakfast, we hear how CT is on to Kate. And why? You know, there's always that one moment where somebody screws up in the game, and then people are on to them, especially when it comes to traitors. Well, here we go. Kate, and we discussed this in the last video, so I'm not going to keep going over it, but Kate did not do a very good job of reacting at the round table. I mean, she was so angry at Phaedra. Unnecessarily, it was weird. And that's what people kept saying. It's weird. Even if it was justified, it would be weird because it would be out of place because they were like good friends in the game. So she just shot herself in the foot. She probably could have gotten everybody to be convinced that it was CT and Sandra. But people are on to her. And CT's definitely one of those. He's like, the way she reacted. And of course, Sandra the night before said the exact same thing. Why was she acting so weird? Why did she say the things she did about Phaedra? Why was she so mean to her? Traitor. At breakfast, on the flip side, MJ says, I don't know. She didn't say it out loud to CT, but in the talking head, she's like, Kate's giving me faithful energy. I really think she's a faithful. MJ says she's suspecting Sandra. Well, now Kate walks into the room. And here's another way that Kate blew it. And I don't think anyone talked about it then, but just me observing how things were going down made me realize, Kate, what are you doing? MJ comes in, she's all giddy excited. It's the last day. CT comes in, woo! They give hugs, they're all excited in that. Kate walks in, very stoic. Good morning. Yeah, no, Kate, get excited. And I know that's her personality in general, but if she were really a faithful and she made it to the last day, she would be a lot more excited. I think that was a red flag right there. And maybe they discussed it and they didn't show it on TV. Then there's a knock on the door, and who comes in? Trishelle. Sheree was killed the night before. I understand it. I just don't like it. I'm just tired of these people I don't like continuing on in the game. Come on. Okay. I mean, we finally get rid of Larsa. We got rid of Peter. Trishelle was the last one who was just really annoying. She's still there. They flash back to the murder the night before. They show Sheree sitting in the chair reading the letter, and then they do the interview as they always do with the person who's leaving, and Sheree was 100% on to the fact that Kate was the murderer. So it was a good decision. I mean, I thought it was a good decision anyway. I just didn't like it. Still don't like it. But it was a good decision on behalf of Kate. I don't know that Kate knew that she was on to her, but she made a good choice. I have written here at breakfast now, Alan comes in and he asks them all to think about who they think are traitors. And they all look pensive, you know, just kind of thinking and looking around. And then we have Trishelle with her exaggerated face again. I'm so sick of her face. That's what I wrote. Oh, I'll insert a clip.
And as you approach that line, you must ask yourself this. Who do you really trust here? Who has sown the seeds of doubt within you?
She just can't look at things. She always has to move her mouth around and sniff her nose. And the overreactions, I'm over. Especially if that's just who she is and she's not doing it for the game. Annoying. After breakfast, we have Trishelle asking Kate and MJ their opinions on who they think is the traitor, and they are both sharing how they think it's Sandra. Trishelle's just sort of nodding. She looks like she's listening and agreeing. They point out Sandra's been a winner of Survivor twice. She's a great gamer. She befriends everyone, but doesn't really share a whole bunch of information. And yeah, she could be a traitor. She then goes in another room and she's talking with CT. Trishelle doesn't know what to do. CT says we should vote for Kate. He gives a line or two why, and right away Trishelle agrees.
Follower.
And boom, they have an alliance of 3. It's going to be Sandra, CT, and Trishelle voting out Kate at the next round table. I wrote in my notes, Kate's done so well in this game until her dumb emotions came into play at the round table. It's true. Unless she thought it was strategy, it was a terrible strategy. She would have been better off just saying nothing than using that strategy. So I think she just got too caught up in her emotions, got angry at Phaedra for Phaedra never having a plan on who they're voting out, and now it being left in her lap. And she doesn't know what to do. So I'm reading through my reactions as I'm watching the show. Obviously, I finished watching the show, so I know how things end, but I'm going to continue reacting based on how I was feeling as I was going through all of this. And I'll do the same thing on the reunion, as I've done with all the shows. I wrote here, I just don't like CT taking Trishelle with him to the end. I wrote, I'm not sure if he can win with her or how it all works out in the end, because I had no idea how the voting or what happens at the very end. But the idea of the two of them together at the end really bothered me. Unless then it came down to a vote of people could vote between the two of them and they only chose one, because then everybody would probably vote for CT and Trishelle would be out. But I didn't know. At this point, we have a helicopter come in to take all of the contestants to their challenge location. They currently have $158,000 in the pot. The goal is they have to get from their starting point out to the ship that's anchored just offshore, raise the masts on the ship, and complete that within an hour. Now, the path to go along the coast has 3 different detours on it. If they complete a detour, they get money, and I believe each detour was worth $5,000. So that would be added to the pot. If they get to the ship, did I mention this? If they get to the ship within the hour's time and the masts are raised, they get $30,000. So just flat money. Everybody has to be on the ship. They have to get the masts up, and then 30 grand. But along the way, if they stop and do a detour and they successfully do it, which is to find a flag, there's a flag hidden at all 3 detours. If they can find the flag, they will get an extra $5,000. But it gets even better, because if they complete all 3 detours and get to the ship on time and get the sails up, they get an additional $50,000, which is more than the whole challenge anyway. It's $30K to get to the boat, $5K for all 3 of the detours, but then an additional $50,000. So obviously the motive and goal is to complete the 3 detours and find those 3 flags. They start running along. They see the sign, detour or ship. They go to the detour. It has a bunch of crab traps all over the place with ropes. So they have to pull the traps in with the ropes, dig through the gunk and muck, leaves and stuff that are inside the traps to see if there's a flag inside there. They're pulling traps. They're doing a whole bunch of the stuff. It's basically CT is doing the brunt of the work. The other women are kind of helping. And eventually somebody says, get the trap that's furthest away. Find that one and pull it in. And they do. And it has the flag in it. So they move on. Then they have to run up this hill along this way. They're exhausted. They get to the second challenge. And very smart like, Sandra says, I am not going to be any good if I have to complete all of these challenges. I don't have it in me. I'm moving on to the next location, and you guys meet me there. You guys complete this challenge, and I'll see you at the next one, and then I'll be well rested. And Trishelle goes with her, which makes no sense, because Trishelle is probably one of the most fit of the ones that are left. So she should be completing all of the challenges. But she left. So her and Sandra along the way are talking strategy, and
While CT, MJ, and Kate attempt to complete detour number 2, Trishelle and Sandra have gone on ahead. However, all 5 of them still need to get to the boat in order to win the money. And with 30 minutes gone, time is rapidly running out.
Oh my God, we're so far.
Oh, listen, me and you should be talking.
as Sandra and Trishelle are walking, Trishelle convinces Sandra, or at least in this, her argument at this time was, you can't stick with MJ and Kate because the 2 of them are so close. They're not going to take you to the end. She says because they're on the Bravo channel, they're not going to take Sandra to the end. So Sandra should go with them. Meanwhile, she's convincing Sandra to go with her, whereas it's her and CT and Sandra. Who's the third wheel? Let's guess. CT and Trishelle have been friends for over 20 years. They've been on the challenge, they've been on the real world. So I just find it interesting that Trishelle is trying to convince Sandra she can go further with Trishelle and CT in the game. Then she's going to be able to go with MJ and Kate in the game. Even though she's been friends with MJ and Kate this entire time and not friends with CT and Trishelle. And MJ and Kate are not besties. They're on 2 different programs on Bravo. They probably see each other maybe at BravoCon if they go. That's it. I just thought it was the dumbest argument, but it will be worse if Sandra falls for it. Meanwhile, detour number 2, on the sign, all it shows is rocks. There's no information other than rocks. So they're going and they're just looking through all the rocks. And the whole thing is all rocky. Like, there's no hint as to where in the rocks to look. So they're looking. I mean, Kate's kind of knocking rocks. She's not being very good. I mean, even, I believe MJ was there too, and she was kind of looking around, but a lot of them, you know, from the editing made it look like they weren't working too hard, whereas CT was the one doing all the manpower and really pushing rocks away and looking through areas to try to find the flags.
Come on, Twinkle Toes!
He eventually finds a bottle or a canister hidden kind of under some rocks that he opens up or I take it back. He doesn't open it up. He finds the canister and he's like, I found it. And then says, oh, it has a lock on it. Well, there was a lock with a combination. So then they're like, well, let's think of different numbers that came up in the game. Let's come up with stuff. Eventually, they were trying some things. He's like, this is ridiculous. We're just randomly guessing. There's got to be a clue somewhere. Is there a clue on the canister? They couldn't find a clue. Kate goes back and looks at the original map that shows where they go to get to the boat. And she sees on it that it has a hashtag, like a number sign. And it's located at the start of the challenge. So CT runs all the way back, past the original challenge, back to the start to look around that area and see if he can find this number combination. He does eventually, I think on one of the starting signs, opens it up, gets the flag out, and then he runs to number 3 to catch up with everybody. At this location, they have to rappel down a cliff to get to sea level so that they can eventually get in a boat and go out to the ship. Kate has a fear of heights. So this was interesting. It wasn't even a detour. Like, they had to scale down the cliff to get to sea level. And so there's a couple funny things that are in there that just made me laugh about Kate.
Cliffs of death is what this is.
We're going down that.
Just don't look down or think about it. I can't control how my body reacts from a height.
You girls got this.
Is it possible for the body to throw up and pee at the same time?
Yes, I can tell you.
Some of the girls have a fear of heights.
What? You gotta stay focused?
Oh, he's going fast. He's doing a jump thing.
Someone's punishing me for something.
I am brave, I am safe, I am strong.
Hurry up.
What did you say?
Hurry up.
Hurry up.
Do you ever shut up?
Shut her up.
I hate this for me. I hate this for me.
That's it. Feed it, feed it, feed it.
Action life figure Kate. Very, very limited edition.
Like, I appreciate somebody who has an absolute fear, but isn't like Trishelle, where she starts to hyperventilate and get all, I'm just so nervous and like just annoying. Kate, who clearly has this full-on fear, is just cracking jokes and trying to make light of it and poke fun at other things with her dry sense of humor, and she's just so enjoyable to watch. I hope at some point Trishelle can go back, rewatch the season, see how Kate reacted to everything, and even Phaedra, really, and how they used humor and lightheartedness to get through trying times and not complain and act like a victim the whole time. I'm over it. But also, that's where detour number 3 is. There's a bunch of water inside these caves, and they have to go in there and find. But they didn't all have to go in. So I believe it was Sandra and CT who went in and were looking around. CT eventually finds it.
Not gonna be as easy as we thought. And that's fine, that's why I'm here. Let's go!
Hey, Sandra. Keep going, I'll help her.
We're swimming against the current, or we're getting pushed backwards, forward. We're trying to move as fast as we can, but it's practically impossible.
See it?
CT should really win this game. At this point, it shows that inside the cave, he's yelling out, I found it. There's 5 minutes left. 5 minutes. He's still in the cave, far away from the ship, has to come out. They all have to climb into like a dinghy boat. They have to get all the way out to the ship with the sailboat, basically, the large pirate-looking sailboat. They all have to climb into it, and then they have to hoist all of the sails, of which there's many, in less than 5 minutes' time. Again, there is an impossibility for this to occur, and they obviously want them to just have the money. So he comes out of the cave. They're all climbing into the boat. They're helping each other in. They're struggling getting in. They finally get in. The boat gets started.
MJ, that looks good.
You guys stand on
Get
this one.
closer. One at a time. Jesus.
Can you your life
Here you
vest?
go.
Come on.
Let's go. Your turn.
Claire, listen to me.
Travels all the way to the ship. They crawl all out of it. They get up onto the ship, and then it shows on TV that there's over 4 minutes left. Because no way. Absolutely no way. This is so rigged, the concept of them doing these challenges. I mean, am I the only one noticing this, how ridiculous it is, and how they always manage to get all the money with just a few seconds to spare? This was the most blatant. They did all that in less than a minute. They couldn't even all climb into the boat in less than a minute. It probably took more than a minute for him to get out of that cave with the water splashing all around to even get back to where they were before they got into the dinghy boat. Anyway, they all get in the dinghy boat to go, and there's still over 4 minutes left. So it only took 30 seconds for CT all the way in the depths of this cave with the water pushing around and them going against the current and that to get out of there and get into this dinghy. Okay, right. I believe you, Peacock. So now this dinghy has to travel all the way out to the pirate ship, and they have to get into the pirate ship and hoist the masts. It gets all the way there, and they get on the boat, and now it says there's 3 minutes left. In 60 seconds, they were able to travel all that way and all get out. I mean, impossibility. I mean, do they think we're idiots? Clearly, they do. They shouldn't have ever put any time up there. I mean, I guess they try to make it look exciting, but then you just look at it and go, well, that didn't happen. So they start hoisting all the sails, and Alan says there's only 90 seconds left. So they're hoisting the sails, and it looks like an impossibility. And he goes, you gotta get them all, you gotta get them all. And they're trying to get them up. CT's doing the brunt of all of the work. They really have them convinced that they have to get this done in a short amount of time or they're not going to get the money. I mean, come on. Anyway, they're working really hard. They're trying to hoist them. And then a little bit later, I hear Ellen go, hurry up, there's only 90 seconds left. And I'm like, wait, you just said there was 90 seconds before. We are frozen in time while you do this mast. And then there's still 90 seconds left. All right. And then at the end, he goes, you did it. And he looks at his watch for the timer and he goes, you did it in just the nick of time. Only 4 minutes over what you were supposed to do it in. Just the nick of time. Of course, he didn't say how much time was left because it would have been so obvious. So they get all the money. The pot is now at $208,000. On the way back to the castle, we have CT and Kate together in the car. She tries to convince him that she's not a traitor. He's like, you're a traitor. She's like, I'm not a traitor. And she gives an argument why she's not. And it's somewhat compelling. And CT afterwards goes, well, now she's got me thinking. Maybe she's not. We get back to the castle, and CT and Trishelle both go and talk with Sandra, and they convince her we need to vote out Kate. After that, Sandra goes and talks to Kate. I hope by now you all know who all these people are, because there's no way I can keep putting all these pictures up. It's going too fast. Too much is happening. I hope you understand who all the characters are at this point. So Sandra, after agreeing that she will vote out Kate, goes to talk to Kate. Tells Kate that CT said that Kate brought up Sandra's name to vote out while they were driving back in the car. So Sandra pretty much throws CT under the bus a little bit by telling Kate, hey, this is what he said about you. Kate comes back and says, well, I'm really upset that he presented it that way. We were talking about it, but it was his idea, not mine. Sandra suggests that her and Kate, as well as MJ, all vote out CT, which I thought was interesting. This is really the first time somebody's thrown out CT's name. She said at that point, we can decide, do we want to vote one more person or do we want to all share the money? At this point, Kate's feeling herself. She's like, this is going good. I like this. I like all these strategies. This is going good. Kate then goes back into the kitchen and is talking to CT. She says to CT, Sandra just told me that you're campaigning against me. And he said, well, Sandra said she's voting for you anyway. And Kate goes, well, that's interesting because Sandra told me she's voting for you. And he's like, for me? Why would she vote for me? She wouldn't vote for me unless she was a traitor. Bum, bum, bum. Who's going to vote for who tonight? We know nobody has Trishelle or MJ on their radar. I don't know why. Can't we get out annoying people? But MJ has slid under the radar this whole game. We don't really see her coming up with new and fresh ideas. We just see her going along. It's a strategy to get by. But does she deserve to win? Yeah, I don't know. CT makes an observation that I thought was good. He says, it just seems like right now everybody's telling everybody what they want to hear. Yeah, CT. Kind of how the game has been going this whole time, but I found it funny. Now we get to the final round table. CT says this round table is a matter of who do you trust the most of those that you trust the least. Very interesting way to put it. He goes on to say at the round table that he has played the game open and honest, but he questions whether Kate has. Kate comes back and explains herself and says, absolutely, let me explain how I played my game, and she lays it all out on the table. At this point, MJ confronts Sandra and says, you know what? I'm concerned about you. I feel like you're withholding. I'm thinking you might be a traitor. At this point, CT jumps on and he confronts Sandra as well. Sandra, I thought, did an amazing job defending herself, especially because she was so emotional about it. Like, she acted like a faithful. As CT is confronting her, you cut over to Trishelle, who's looking at CT like, what? This is not our game plan. You know? She says nothing, but she just keeps looking confused at CT. And then it ends and they have to vote. Now Trishelle doesn't know how to vote because she's like, well, is he voting for Sandra? Or are we going back and we voting for Kate? Kate voted for Sandra. Then MJ voted for Sandra. Sandra voted for Kate. Now we have Trishelle. And we're like, who is Trishelle going to vote for? Trishelle turns her board around and she voted for Sandra. And you can see underneath where it was wiped away the word Kate. And it just show, it looked like she changed her mind 2 or 3 times. She was like, scribble, wipe it off. Scribble, wipe it off. Interestingly, CT was doing the same thing. He was writing, wiping it off, writing, wiping it off. And so I'm like, who did he end up voting for? He turns it around, he voted for Sandra. And you can see from behind it how he had Kate's name down at one point too. So Sandra is banished. Sandra goes to the ring of truthfulness or whatever it's called. And she says, I've played a game where I believed all of you. I thought we were in this together. I'm a faithful people. She wishes him good luck and she goes on. It seems at this point the gig is up for Kate though. It was going to be one of the two of them and I didn't know what was going to happen next, but I thought Kate can't make it much further in this game because everyone's going to suspect her. So even if it's just a matter of voting, who do you want, who do you not want, however, Kate's not going to fare well from this point on. So they're all going to go out to what is now called the Fire of Truth. At this point, they decide if they are going to banish somebody or end the game. So they have these pouches that have a color inside of them. And when you throw the pouch in the fire, the color comes up. They give the pouches to Ellen to throw in the fire. So they're basically deciding. It's like their vote. I want the game to continue. I want the game to end right now, or I want to vote to banish another person. At this point in the talking heads, CT says the only person that he trusts in the game is Trishelle. In Trishelle's talking head, she says she doesn't know if she can trust CT anymore because of the way he changed at the round table and how the votes all changed. She just voted for Sandra because it seemed like he was going to, and she's trying to vote with the majority because she didn't know what was going on. Kind of is a big theme. Like, Trishelle did make it to the end, but she made it to the end on other people's coattails. She rode Peter's coattails until he was gone. Then she didn't really have much strategy in the game, but luckily there was like always some sort of turmoil that happened where somebody else was getting voted out, which got her along a little bit further. And here at the very end, she's doing what CT is dictating for her to do. So how great of a game player is she? I mean, she made it to the end, but like, how great of a game player is MJ? She made it to the end too. MJ just made it to the end being likable, and Trishelle is extremely annoying. But they're both at the same point in the game. So Trishelle's a great game player? I don't think so. I mean, neither is MJ, in my opinion. I love MJ. I love me some Shahs of Sunset. Mercedes Javid. Love her. But I don't think she did great in the game. At this point in the talking head, when they asked MJ who does she trust, she said all three of them that are left, because it was Kate, CT, and Trishelle. She says she really does trust them all, but at the same time, this is the first time we've seen strategy and understanding of the game come out of MJ's mouth anyway. She said, because we just had a murder of Sheree, there is still a traitor around. So she has to vote to banish somebody because there's still a traitor. And if a traitor ends up at the end of the game, the traitor gets all the money. So there has to be another banishment to try to get out the traitor. She adds she just is working hard to get to the end of the game to give all the money to split it amongst the faithfuls that are left. In the talking head with Kate, Kate says, I'm just going to lie and try to get myself to the end and take all the cash. So they all vote. If even one player votes red, it means a banishment, and there's going to be another vote. They all have to vote green in order to end the game. So Alan pulls the little packets of stuff out of his thing, and he goes, this one is Kate's, and this is how Kate voted. And he threw it in the fire, and it was green. And he said, can you explain yourself, Kate? And Kate said, I believe we're all faithfuls left here, so let's just end the game, divide it up, and go home. Then Trishelle takes red, throws it in the fire. I don't even remember her explanation. CT's was red too, MJ's was red too. MJ is the only one that reiterated, we just had a murder, there has to be another traitor, we have to continue this process. She's the only one that verbalized that, but maybe the other two said it and they edited it out. I don't remember what they said. So they all vote. Kate gets voted out. Kate says, yes, I'm a traitor. Good luck to you all. Smiles. She's on her way. A graceful exit. Would we have gotten a graceful exit from Trishelle? What do you think? I mean, y'all know what I think, how it would have gone down. I mean, when we were at the Ring of Fire outside how many episodes ago, she was practically hyperventilating and saying she's having a panic attack because she thought somebody might vote for her and she might go home. Tears, the whole 9 yards. She would not have handled it well at all. Trishelle is clearly used to getting whatever she wants in life. Spoiled.
Really? No, honestly, tell me what you really think.
So after they vote Kate out, in the talking head, MJ's like, okay, great. The traitors are all out. Let's just end this game. They go to vote. He throws in MJ's pouch. It turns green. He says, why? And she goes, because we're all faithfuls left. This is it. Let's share the money and end the game.
Let the fire of truth reveal your decision.
If I'm wrong to love these guys, I don't want to be right. I just trust them.
And she adds, I trust them. Trishelle, he throws her pouch in and it goes red.
Trishelle. Trishelle, you chose to banish again. Why?
She gives some BS about doing it because she believes that there's another traitor. There was never any talk about there being two traitors. In fact, when it would kind of come up, everybody always dismissed it and thought there's not two traitors. This is her just lying, straight up lying, as opposed to just being honest and saying, CT and I have been friends for 20 years. We plan to do this to the end of the game. Now it's the end of the game, and I just want to share the money with him. So she lies, making me dislike her even more, if it's even possible. Ellen throws in CT's little pouch. It turns red. He asks CT why, and CT tells the truth. He said he would want the pot of gold all to himself, but the only person he will share it with is Trishelle. So he wants to vote for another banishment, so MJ goes out. At this point, MJ is flabbergasted. She had no idea this is how it was going to go down.
I really don't want to vote for Trishelle or CT. I believe in the pit of my stomach and my heart that they are both faithfuls.
So now they have to vote who to banish. MJ has no idea. She's like, Trishelle, see, I don't know. She kept like hitting her head. She's like, I don't know. I don't know. She's wiping it off. She's like, I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Please vote no, MJ.
Okay, shit.
I don't know what to do. It's like Sophie's Choice. We're all faithfuls. And why are we voting for a faithful? I don't understand this.
All right, I'm just gonna go with a rock in a hard place. I don't know. I don't know what I did.
My heart went out to her because clearly she came at it from the perspective of the point of the game is to remove the traitors so that the faithfuls that made it to the end can share the money. Whereas Trishelle and CT came from a much more selfish perspective in that I want the money all for myself or I'll share it with my best buddy, but that's it. So it made my heart break a little bit just because of where MJ was coming from. Her innocence in this was touching and really wasn't a good look for Trishelle and CT. Well, MJ ends up voting for Trishelle, which made me giddy happy because I'm like, could it be that CT will change his vote? I didn't think he would, but at any rate. So MJ votes for Trishelle. CT votes for MJ. She's shocked. I mean, come on. At this point, she shouldn't be shocked anymore. And then Trishelle.
Who do you believe should be banished and why?
This is a hard one. CT.
Oh my God.
We're all shocked. So they all voted for a different person. So it's a stalemate. They have to vote again until the vote changes and somebody's voted out. CT looks so hurt. And Trishelle said, you changed everything at the round table. We had a plan and you changed the plan. Obviously, I think that something's up and you're a traitor. Now, she has an argument there. I can't believe that with all the strategy going on that and knowing that there were two possible people to vote out, that he didn't give her a heads up ahead of time, or they didn't agree that, like, if the round table takes a complete turn that we don't expect, I'll wink at you, or I'll tap the table, or I'll do, scratch my chin or something to indicate we're going a different way. But they never figured that out. So Trishelle is now questioning whether CT may have been playing her this entire time and he's actually a traitor. So they vote again. MJ is just as distraught as she was the first time. Poor MJ. They show CT's vote first. He voted for MJ again. MJ shows her vote. She voted for Trishelle again. And then Trishelle shows her vote and she voted for MJ. And all I wrote on here was shit.
Darn it!
Trishelle said, it was too hard to write his name the first time. I just can't write it a second time. Okay, whatever. I don't believe anything comes out of her mouth anyway. So the game pretty much ends. MJ leaves, and she says, I hope that this makes you guys feel great. And you know, from watching the reunion and watching their reaction right after MJ left, I think it does. I don't think they cared at all that they got rid of MJ. They still could have done it. They still could have intellectually said, listen, I just wanted more money. Like, I know it's greedy and all that. And I feel so bad for MJ. But there wasn't a whole lot of empathy going out for her. It was just them dancing and hugging each other. And CT grabs Trishelle and swings her around and then throws her down like he's they're gonna have sex on top of all the gold coins that are there on this table. Had to have been uncomfortable. Then eventually he jumped on it himself, I think to make it look less awkward because of what he did with Trishelle. And he's all giddy excited. And then
Congratulations, you have won the Traitors.
Oh my God.
Come on over here looking like a big
Oh my God.
Trishelle didn't seem that she was too into his level of celebration, making me think that it is just possible that CT has had a silent crush on Trishelle this whole time. I'm trying to look up here if Trishelle is married, and it looks like she may have just recently got married. It's a whole article on her. She went to University of Southern Mississippi. She auditioned for a show called Lost in the U.S. She didn't end up getting it, but then she went to Real World Las Vegas. She also modeled for Playboy several times, and for the Playboy Cyber Club and Playboy DVD. Okay. Another reason I don't like her. She showed up in William Hung's music video of She Bangs. Oh my word. Oh, she's just, I knew I didn't like her. She also appeared in Married at First Sight in a wrestling championship. Like, she's just trying to get on every reality show. Just get a frickin' job. She went to college. New Tom Green Show, Steve O, Out on Bail, Spring Break Celebrity Fantasies, Hulk Hogan Celebrity Championship Wrestling. Oh my goodness. And then she was in some movies. The Beginning? Never heard of it. Ninja Cheerleaders? That was a box office hit. Apart from her TV career, she has an expansive poker career. Here's a People magazine article about her fairy tale wedding. I'm just trying to see when it was. It was published in 2017. So is she still married? This is an article from 2017. The bride caused a stir in 2002-2003 on MTV's reality show with a pregnancy scare with one of her castmates. Oh, she's a quality person, boy. Her bridesmaids were somebody from MTV's The Challenge and somebody from America's Next Top Model. All right. I don't know if she's still married. I can't find it anywhere. That was 2017. Where's a frickin' IMBD? Does she not have one? She has to with everything she was in. I can't find anything else, so I'm assuming she's still married. Which now makes it really weird how CT was so handsy with her at the end. I just assumed she was single. Wow. So bizarre. Eventually, I wrote on here that CT started like hugging and kissing the top of the head of Alan too, so that it looked like he was sharing the affection. I think he started to realize that Trishelle was sort of like, this is weird. And so he moved on. I did notice that he did not have a ring on CT, but I didn't pay attention or notice with Trishelle. So I just wrote here at the very end, CT and Trishelle reveal that they're faithfuls to each other and the whole thing is anticlimactic. They each get half the money, so they get $104,000 apiece, which is a lot of money. I mean, if somebody gave me that kind of money, I'd be thrilled. But, I mean, it's not life-changing. It seems like in this day and age, prize money is more like $500,000 or $1 million, and I don't know. But you know what? They probably get paid for every episode they're on television, so they probably made a significant amount of money more than this, I would assume. I mean, I think they all got paid something for being on TV, even if they didn't win. All right, that's the end of the episode. The rest of my notes start with the reunion. Wah, wah, wah. Sorry to end it on a downer, talking about Trishelle. Let's talk about something positive. If they do get paid per episode, we had Kate and MJ making it to the very end, so that's good. At least Trishelle had to split the pot with somebody. I wish CT would have won it all. But it is what it is. You can't always get what you want. And we move on to the reunion.
Okay. Reunion. Let's